So we need to reproduce this ramp. It was originally painted entirely red. I tried to get the red off and ended up with like a yellowized mess. The reason why it needs to be clear is there's lamp inserts underneath this entrance here that shine through the ramp to tell you the level on this Heavy Metal Meltdown game. So this isn't going to do. Plus, this wall is blown out and broken. This one was blown out and repaired with some ugly material, and that's why they painted the ramp red. It was really, really bad before. It looked way worse. So what I did is I basically used this Bondo that I bought at Home Depot. It's a two-part body filler for cars. Laid it all out and made myself a duplicate of the ramp in body filler. So you can see this is pretty much an exact copy of the ramp. And we're going to use this to do the vacuum forming. We'll actually make a new ramp from some PETG plastic that I bought at a plastic supply house. So let's, now that we got this, and I did skip a bunch of making this. This thing was a pain in the ass to make because it has to be pretty much perfect. Any defects that you have in this surface will echo through to your new ramp, so it has to be smooth. Any air holes have to be filled, so I used Bondo about 12 times and sanded it about 14 times to get it to look like this. This took me a lot of time, but this is all the prep work that you really have to do. If you don't have this right, you're never going to end up with a ramp that is pausable. So we're ready to vacuum form our ramp. This is our picture frame. It's a 1x3 frame, glued and stapled together. Actually 2 frames with a T-nut on the bottom, 4 T-nuts, and then the piece of PETG plastic in between it. Then we've got our vacuum form box here. This is a rubber seal. It's 19 inches square to accommodate an 18-inch square piece of plastic. And then this is our mold, which is made out of body filler, and it's pretty durable. And it's actually fairly hard. And you can see I have a tracing on here because it is very important where you have that in relationship to the holes. If I have this too close to the side, we won't get the plastic to bend down around here, because to be honest with you, the 18-inch plastic is barely big enough. You need a little more room from the edge, this line being the edge. That way the plastic can pull down easier. We'll have problems around these edges, and I'll show you what we have to do to make that a little sharper. Then this is hooked up to a vacuum, which I actually have outside just because of the noise. Keeps the noise down. And then we're also going to use a propane torch, and I'll show you that in a minute. But right now we're going to, our oven is preset at 350 degrees. I have a couple 2x4s which I put in the oven like this. And then we take our piece of plastic and set it in there. And now the piece of plastic is actually bigger. The frame is bigger than the oven. You can see I can't close the door all the way. I have a little gap here, but that's okay. Not to worry, it'll still get soft and in a few minutes. What will happen is the plastic will droop. We'll see it through here. It'll actually sag down, and that's what we want. We want it to sag down about 1 inch above the oven rack. And then once that happens, I'm going to pull it out, have this guy all fired up, and put it on and suck it down. And Scott's going to help me. He's going to do the camera work while we do that part. Okay, the vacuum's on. You can see it's really starting to droop now. I don't know if you can see it. It's not quite there, but it's getting close. Alright, here we go. Take it out and put it on over top and then down on the frame, and it'll suck it down. See? Meltdown! 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 Suck down, but not all the way, and then I can kind of push it, but it is hot. And you see, this is what I was talking about with the corners. So I'm kind of going around with my fingers. Actually, it is really hot. So what I'm going to do take a fork and kind of help it. But you see it's already solidified. I don't have enough here, so I'm going to take my torch and kind of gently heat it up a little bit, and then push it down a little more to try and get it, and leave the vacuum on to kind of suck it down. See, just that little bit with the torch really softens it up and helps me develop that edge. So I'm going to do this on all the edges just to get them a little sharper. Because I really want them to get sharp. Especially around here, it really has a problem because, again, our frame is actually too small. We're too close to the wood, and it doesn't allow the plastic to really form down as much as I would like it. Here, press that and get that corner good. Now you don't want to burn it too much with the propane because you will collapse the plastic. And also, like right around here, right there, yeah, right there in particular, you want to get that a little sharper. See, I can really get it nice and sharp this way. And even on some of the other edges, do it up here a little more too, like right in here. I really want to work on that. And then up here, this edge is really bad again because it's close to the corner. It's hard to get these edges that are close to the corner to really get sharp. And you just got to work it a little bit until you get it the way you want it. And then we can take it all apart. It's actually pretty good. I'm actually kind of liking that. Now yeah, look, it fell right out. I didn't even have to pull it out. Sometimes I got to pull it out. It's actually better when I got to pull it out. But it's all molded. I'll just release it from the frame. And it actually came out pretty good. Like these corners here and the edges was what I get really concerned about right in here, this area too. It actually came out really good. So then we'll take this to the shop and we'll do a rough bandsaw cut on it. You'll see how much waste is in this thing. There's just a ton of waste, unfortunately, but that's just the nature of the beast. But you can see this area is all really nice and smooth, and it feels good. It feels nice and level because you want the game to shoot right, and you know the ball's going to be rolling up and down this thing. Here it is released from the frame. You can see the holes in the area we're not using from the suction. Also, I've got 4 holes in the plastic. They correspond with the holes in the frame, the screws in the frame. And the reason why I do that is so the plastic doesn't slip out between the frame. So the plastic is really well secured in the frame through these holes. But we are ready to go and trim this thing, turn it into something. So we'll just do a rough cut first. First big piece of waste. Second big piece. So now it's the tedious part. We got it rough cut, but now I got to take it to the bandsaw and actually do more cautious cuts, and this is what takes all the time. It'll actually probably take an hour to get it to look like this one. You can see that there's quite a bit that needs to get trimmed off. But you know, it just takes time. The other thing you can do is you can use a razor blade to cut in sharp areas or, you know, in tight corners in that instead of the bandsaw. So here's the ramp all finished and installed after all the trim cut. We also have the cap on. The cap is required because you'll have air balls. This came from the factory, the cap. But you can see now I have a clear ramp here so I can see my level inserts. I also made these stainless steel ramp entrance protectors because the ramp will just get blown out eventually if you don't have these. So I figured I don't ever want to go through this again. So we made those up, and now we can turn the game on and actually listen to it boot up. It's obnoxious, by the way. If you haven't played Heavy Metal Meltdown before, it's really obnoxious. Heavy Metal Meltdown! There we go. So you see how nice the ball goes up our fine new ramp. I think that's enough.